Are you going through life just reacting to things? Most people let life happen to them. Most people aren't making life happen for them. They are just showing up and then whatever comes, comes. If that's you, if you're just living your life in purely reactionary mode, you're not controlling your own life. You're living in someone else's paradigm. But if the problem runs this deep, how do you break out of it? What does it actually look like to take back control of your reality? While you're thinking about that, follow me on social media, would you? The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Do get my free ebook, She's Made You Weak. The link is the first link in the comments there if you haven't gotten that already. It explains why attraction erodes over time in a long-term relationship. It's the 5-step betatization process. And if you're not aware of it, attraction is going to erode over time and your girl's going to end up cheating on you or leaving. Okay. So if you want to prevent it, you got to know what's happening. Grab the ebook if you haven't gotten that already. And today is Frame Friday, and I have a book. You can get all my books by going to books.comeonmanpod.com. The links are in the description for all of my books. But since it is Frame Friday, I'd like for you to check out my book, Psychology Paradigm. It's a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series that RP Thor, it's a series that RP Thor masterminded before he passed away. Mine was the first book in the series. It's also the only, it's one of 2 of the Essential Skills books that are on Audible. So check that out. Omega's in the house, says morning, folks. Ray says good morning. Mike says best country ever. I agree. I do agree. America, yeah. What's good, gents? Happy 249th to the best country ever. Oh, too sweet. He's got the too sweet there. All right. You're going to be barbecuing with your wolf. Sweets. Donna says, hi, Paul, going live 4:30 Pacific with James Christensen. Hey, cool. Hope you have a good stream. Mike Steele's in the house with a $5 super chat. He is a Wolfpack brother. He says, today's schedule, watch The Patriot, then The Buccaneer. Oh, I've never seen The Buccaneer. I'll have to check that out. He's going to cook burgers, play Red Dead Redemption 2, watch Independence Day, the documentary Independence Day, and then he's going to watch fireworks. He is a beer club brother, so he gets automatically bumped up to a $10 super chat. I'm going to give him the booty shake video. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Mike says, I'm too old to get drafted now. Yeah, same here, brother. Same here, brother Steele. Yeah, we're too old. War's a young man's game, man. Brother Ed says, it's old dudes talking and young men dying as well. Brother Ed, another Wolfpack brother, he says, happy 4th, Wolfpack dudes. He's going to get the titty chicken video.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing. Can't stop that. East to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Yes, indeed. And then let's see here. Pre-woke Gillette was cool. Never saw their commercials that way. Yeah, well, yeah, now you won't see now that you see that, right? That there's the 3 sort of sub-markets that everyone markets to. Next time you watch an ad, try to see what it is that they're appealing to. Right, you'll find it's usually one of those 3. Pretty fascinating. And then Dar Fitness says scarcity mindset kills everything for you. When you want nothing, you get everything. Yeah, there is some magic to just sort of letting go. Right, there's a really good book out there by oh god, what's the guy's name? I can't think of the guy's name. It's just the book's called Letting Go, though. I can't think of the name for whatever reason, but that's a really good book. It talks about how when you let go of expectation of outcome, you tend to get the things that you want in life, right? All right. All right, let's talk about why you can't just think positive, bro, right? Have you ever, I used to be this guy. I used to be kind of a pessimistic thinker. I was not really much of an optimist. And then I would tell myself that I was being a realist, right? How many of you guys do that? Like you can't be optimistic about anything. I'm being real, bro. I'm just being real, man. Like, I'm just being real. Well, the thing is when you adopt more of an optimistic framework of mindset, that's real too, right? Reality is what you tell yourself. It's fascinating. But most men can't escape that loop, right? They try to think positive, but their subconscious frame keeps pulling them back in. How many of that, Man, that early morning. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Right? Where you want to think positive, you can't. You just start spiraling downwards. Like how many of you out there experience that? Most advice skips the real issue, which is that you're programmed to default to someone else's rules. You're programmed to fall back on old paradigms, right? My paradigm, that's one of the reasons why I think I was so pessimistic growing up, is my dad is like that. My dad is just the grumpiest son of a bitch. Everything sucks. You know, if I didn't have good luck, I wouldn't have any. If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all, kind of guy. Right? If it's not one thing, it's another. Everything sucks, right? So I had a real negative mindset growing up, and it wasn't until I really started learning this stuff that I was able to start turning that around and really look for the silver lining to everything. And you'll find it. If that becomes your new paradigm, where you're always looking for the positive in things, you will start seeing the positive in things, right? It's not that they weren't there before. It's just that you weren't thinking about it. You're filtering it out, right? Our brains are interesting that way. So Napoleon Hill has an example in his book, and you've probably heard it. I think it's a pretty popular sort of idea or story anyway, right? But he has a story, 3 feet from gold story, right? Where basically this guy had a mine and he was digging and digging. He spent all this time digging and digging. And he got so far in the earth and he never actually found the gold. And he finally gave up and ended up selling his gold claim. And, he went off and did other things, right? Well, the guy who bought the gold claim found the gold. It was 3 feet away from where the guy stopped digging. So most men quit before they ever break through to the gold because their internal frame says, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. This isn't for you, right? You're wasting your time. Well, Hill describes men who seem to have everything: talent, intelligence, opportunity, but fail because their thoughts sabotage them, right? He talks about these types of guys in the book all the time. They seem like they have everything necessary to succeed: talent, intelligence, opportunity, but they never quite get there, right? Isn't it fascinating? Isn't it fascinating how there's guys out there that are super smart? They go to college for, I don't know, a decade. They become doctors, but they don't ever make really great money. They just, they go into family medicine or something. They make a pretty good living, probably better than most people's living, but they're not like rich, right? And then you have guys, like Russell Brunson, who's not a doctor, making billions of dollars because he has a different mindset. It's not that the doctor isn't educated. I mean, clearly he is. He's a doctor, right? But why is he making a less than Russell Brunson? There's lots of multimillionaires out there that never went to college, right? Look at Bill Gates. Well, he's a multi-billionaire. I think he's a dropout. He's a college dropout. So it's not that it's not that these people, that they have all the talent, they have all the intelligence, they have all the opportunity. We all, especially if you live in America, like this is the land of opportunity. It really is. But the people that don't succeed here are the people that don't have the mentality to succeed here, right? It's not that the opportunities aren't here. The opportunities are absolutely here. They're everywhere. You can make your own opportunities here. That's what's rad about our society. You can make your own opportunities, but most people don't, because they have a scarcity mindset. They think that the only way to make money is to trade your time for money, right? So that I have to get a job. No, that's not the only way to make. No, in fact, that's how poor people make money, right? Like rich people are doing everything they can to try to buy their time back. And you guys are selling your time for money. Well, we all have the same amount of time in the world. The burning desire test. If you don't have a clear, obsessive vision, your frame is up for grabs, right? One of the things that Hill really harps on is you basically have to get emotionally involved with your goal, right? You have to think about it night and day. You have to be constantly thinking about this end state. Now, what's really hard about that is you also have to let go of that attachment to outcome, right? You have to let go of that attachment to outcome, or it's never going to come for you, right? You have to sort of believe in it and focus on it and think about it and trust that it's already here. That's the tricky part. I got a story for you guys. Imagine just for a moment stepping across the threshold of a house that feels almost like yours, but not quite. You hear the quiet click of the door behind you. As you walk down the hall, notice how every detail, every photograph, every chair seems placed by an unseen hand. You tidy up, you sweep, you patch cracks in the walls, hoping that somehow effort alone will make this place feel like home. But it never does it? There's always that subtle tension, that quiet question lingering in the air. Am I really allowed to be here? Maybe you sense it most when you reach for a new color of paint or move the couch just a few inches to the left. Some deep part of you hesitates. Should you ask permission? Is it really okay? So you wait. You keep the peace. You try not to disturb the order someone else decided long before you arrive. And as days become weeks and weeks become years, you settle in. You learn the creaks in the floor. You remember which door sticks in the winter. You grow comfortable enough to almost forget that this isn't really yours. But sometimes, late at night, while the world is quiet, you feel it. That persistent nagging sense of being a guest in your own life. You tiptoe carefully, not to wake anyone, carefully not to draw attention, carefully, always careful, because deep down you know this place doesn't belong to you. Now, imagine coming home one day, as you've done 1,000 times before. You reach for your familiar key. You slide it into the lock. It won't turn. You try again, feeling a sudden rush of uncertainty. The key that has always worked, useless. You peer through the window, and for a fleeting moment, you see new furniture, unfamiliar faces. Someone else has changed the locks. Without warning, you are standing on the outside, looking in. You remember all the little things you did, the care you took, the repairs you made, the way you tried to never cause trouble, to always fit in. Yet, in the end, none of it mattered because the house was never really yours to begin with. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, where in your own life are you just a guest? Where are you sweeping the floors, fixing the problems, trying your best to fit in, all while someone else holds the keys? Maybe you felt this in your relationships, in your career, in the quiet conversations you have with yourself. Maybe you know deep down that you've never fully claimed your place. What would happen if you decided to take the keys back? What if instead of waiting for permission, you wrote down your own rules? Imagine the sense of ownership, the confidence that comes from knowing this is your house, your life, your reality. How would it feel to walk through the door and know without a doubt you belong here? And yet sometimes we need a reminder. Sometimes we need a group, a brotherhood who's been locked out before, who knows the pain of watching life happen from the outside. Men who have found their keys and can show you where to look for yours. Men who can help you remember that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not meant to stand out in the world. So as you listen to this, notice the ways you've been waiting for someone else to give you permission. Notice where you've handed over your keys. And when you're ready, realize that the door is waiting to be opened by you.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.